Okay, so now on to the next step. So you can see I've added the designer's names here, and I did that the same way we created these text boxes. I just took the text tool, drag out, and then you type in the name. So I'm going to click the V tool, delete that. All right, and then I'm going to drag these to go underneath each of their corresponding. If we press, I highlighted all 4 of those. By just clicking and dragging, I can hit the Shift key and unclick one of them. Oops. Wait. Click. Okay. There you go. All right, click and drag. And Shift, click and drag. All right, great. And then we have, okay, Command 0 brings us out. So now we have the essentials of a basic poster design. You can noodle with this for a long time. I often do many iterations, and I'll do that by just clicking in the page panel here, click page 1 and drag it down to this plus sign, and it'll create a second page. And then I can highlight everything, drag it down, change the typeface. You know, we could change this and make it really big, you know, and this is Command Shift, right caret, right? We could do, maybe we want to try all caps, which is going to be pretty bossy, but you never know if that feels right to you. Or we could do on 2 lines, so much cool stuff we could do. We could make it really huge. So right now we're thinking about scale. You know, so then we have 2 completely different posters that have been changed just with a simple, and you know what, I'm just going to make this just to obsess a little bit. So this is the leading, the space between the lines, right? We could do this. We could even cross over. I'm not going to cross over though. Okay, great. So now let's talk about color. So let's say you want to use color on this poster. You want this to be red. So we have swatches here, the fill and the stroke. And if you hit this little button here, it swaps them. So let's say we click pink, it'll swap the stroke to the fill. The one that's on top is the one that you're changing. So let's swap these and then click on the stroke. You can also click here. Okay. I don't like this color. This is a little bit, you know, doesn't feel right. So we can go here to this small hamburger in the swatches panel and say new color swatch and add a CMYK color swatch. And 2 things we should review are process and spot color. Spot color is going to be when you have a professional printer printing this, and you know they're going to be using PMS tones or Pantones. So that's true colors, because what we're looking at on screen is not actually the true color. So let's click Pantone and CMYK coded. And then you can type in the number, and actually you can look online for specific Pantone colors, or you can look here. So let's say I like this or this. Then what you can do is you can actually go ahead and just click the add button and it will appear here. So there we have created a new swatch. Ta-da! Awesome. We're not going to use Pantone today. You're not going to have to use Pantone for the most part, unless you plan to become a graphic designer. But it is very good to know in case you ever work with a graphic designer, or just to know generally, because let's be honest, it's really fun. So let's go back to CMYK. That's going to be for anything print. And let's choose like a red color. That's like super red. I'm going to do a little darker. So this is just adding a little bit of the cyan. Let's see if. All right, so choose your color. Let's try that. And we can either name with the color value, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So it'll actually use those numerical, those numbers as the naming system. But I'm going to call this, no, intense red. No, modern red. Yeah. No, mid-century. No, I'm going to call it red in all caps. Super red. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so super red is going to be here. We have it as the outline or the stroke. One thing we could review is the stroke panel. So this is our stroke panel. This is pretty interesting. So what I did here is if you double click this, there's 3. So 1, 2, 3. So off, on with just the weight. If you click this, you can see the weight of the outline gets thicker. And if you double click again, you can actually change lots of different things. Different kind of cap, different joinery, how it aligns. So this is align stroke to center. So actually, this is actually very handy. So there's a box drawn around this text frame, and aligning it, you can align the color inside that line, right down the middle of that line, or outside the line. So let's say for now, outside the line, align stroke to outside. And then type, we can say thick, thick, we could say thick, thin, and you can see this is changing as we click through these. All right, then we could do start and end. You could have an arrow, which I don't think is going to work here, but let's say we take a line, draw a little line here, add a stroke for the weight. So how I did that is I clicked this line tool, I just dragged out and I hit the shift key to make it straight. Then weight, increase. You can also do this up here, which is good to know. All right, then we could change this to this. And then we could add start and end, a little arrow pointing to the left. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, these are all super weird. And I'm gonna actually just do like a square, and then maybe a little circle, maybe a little arrow. And those are pretty much the ones that I use, but let's say, just for reference, like we go back to our mid-century modern design, header 1, and we choose thick, thick. And let's say we put a background behind this. So if I take this square tool, shape tool, click and drag, and I make this fill color yellow, we can do Command Shift left bracket and you'll send that shape to the back. Selection tool, Command plus to zoom in, press my space bar, drag this around. If we click this, the gap tool is the space between. So we could actually call this white, and you can see that in between the color is white. Okay, yellow, super red. Yeah, but there's no reason to do that. Do not use registration Registration is only used with printers for crop marks. So don't use registration. It's really super fun if you have a project that you just registration and you have to get rid of it because you can't. It's difficult to locate it within a document, especially if it's a longer document like a book. So I actually had some like very curious incidents where I had to like spend hours and hours going through like somebody's file to like find where the registration was located, and you like change all the layers and like the text you have to move around and stuff. It's super fun. I wonder how long this video has been. Let me see. Let me stop sharing real quick and then I'll start again.